Thank you for joining my sessions on Introduction to AWS Security for FSI. My name is Lip Gee, and I'm the Solutions Architect supporting FSI industry vertical at AWS. In my capacity with AWS for the past 3 years, I have had the privilege of working with financial services customers in creating a secure and scalable cloud foundation for their organization, and working with them to prepare the required control to fulfill regulatory requirements just so they can bring their workload to production on AWS Cloud. Today, I'll be sharing about the AWS Shared Responsibility Model, along with key security services that allows you to build security controls that are aligned to the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. We will also discuss 5 common principles related to financial services regulation that customers should consider when using AWS Cloud services and specifically applying the Shared Responsibility Model to their regulatory requirements. In this section, I would like to share with you some context on why more and more financial services organizations are moving their workload to AWS Cloud. I will also explain why security and compliance has become an increasingly important topic for FSI to consider in their cloud adoption journey. The financial services industry is always changing. The ability to rapidly implement new technology is a critical aspect of this capability. New forms of risks are constantly emerging, and regulatory compliance continues to be a significant expense driver as regulatory oversight continues to expand. Resources are scarce, especially in light of slow business and investment sentiment during this pandemic period. Our customers tell us that this may lead to softer business activities and weaker loan asset quality for FSI. Data is revealing that it is especially important for organizations to adapt to change and speed up their digital capabilities to improve cost efficiencies and customer reach. Consumers nowadays have higher expectations because there are increased digital competition among financial services players to provide a seamless experience for customers. Competition for new fintech entrants and traditional players is at an all-time high. Financial consumers have more choice now than any other time in history. Due to the market volatility, FSI has to increase their focus on operational resiliency. These pressures are why financial services executives are no longer asking if or why they will move to the cloud, but instead the organization has started to asking how to meet their regulatory obligation when moving to the cloud. Traditionally, FSI organizations have been forced into a binary trade-off: either move quickly or stay secure. Due to the overly manual security processes and strict regulatory policy, InfoSec is often forced to slow things down to human speed so they can ensure the security of the organization. Today, it is possible to automate many of the basic security tasks like patching, and with the right tooling to gain the visibility needed to accurately identify and monitor critical assets and data. With the cloud, all of this is made easier so we can stay agile while maintaining and in many cases improving security. By providing highly integrated logging and monitoring as well as integrated tools to automate core security functions, organizations can use AWS to innovate quickly and maintain their security posture. Most of the jurisdictions that regulate financial services do not prohibit the use of cloud services, but the regulator would require a higher level of due diligence from financial services who are using third-party service providers, one that is commensurate with the level of associated risk. Although requirements vary by jurisdiction, we have identified 5 common principles related to financial services regulation that you should know when considering AWS services. Principle number 1 is cloud governance. Regulators would want to ensure financial services has performed their due diligence in assessing their cloud service provider. This can be ranging from reviewing the compliance audit report on the cloud service provider global infrastructure and their operating model. Regulators would also want to understand how your organization is going to implement governance on your cloud deployment and operate your own cloud environment. Data security and privacy is another aspect which the regulator would like to understand what is the security baseline which you have implemented in protecting your data and your customer data. Disaster recovery and availability aspect of your cloud deployment is also an area which you need to focus on. You need to demonstrate to regulator on how your application has been designed to leverage backup restore, multi-facilities availability, and resiliency mechanism of the cloud services. You will also need to have an incident response plan. You need to demonstrate that the role and responsibility is clear within your organization and you have a procedure in place to react to incident. Regulator will also want to understand if you have reviewed and understand the contractual aspect of your engagement with cloud service provider. How do you able to terminate the contract and what is your exit strategy if you ever need to move your workload to another service provider? In this section, we are going to focus on the first two principles which we have just discussed. How can AWS assist you in meeting the first two common principles which we have just discussed? By deploying your workload on AWS, you can inherit the security and compliance controls which we have implemented in our global infrastructure. AWS also provides you a wide range of services which can help your organization to elevate your security posture. Let me start with AWS Shared Responsibility Model. As shown on this slide, we look after the security of the cloud and customer look after your security in the cloud. When we say AWS responsibility is on the security of the cloud, we mean that AWS is responsible for protecting the infrastructure that runs all of the services offered in the AWS cloud. This infrastructure is composed of the hardware, software, networking, and facilities that run AWS cloud services. Your responsibilities as AWS customer is on the security in the cloud. Customer responsibility will be determined by the AWS cloud services that a customer selects. This determines the amount of configuration work that the customer must perform as part of their security responsibilities. For example, services such as Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Amazon EC2, is categorized as infrastructure as a service, and as such, require the customer to perform all of the necessary security configuration and management tasks. If a customer deploys an Amazon EC2 instance, they are responsible for management of the GWS operating system, which including updates and security patches. Any application software or utilities installed by the customer on the instances and the configuration of the AWS provided firewall, called a security group on each instance. Nevertheless, you always retain full control and responsibilities in securing your content in AWS cloud. Let's zoom in further to the security of the cloud. To aid your compliance efforts, AWS regularly achieves third-party validation for thousands of global compliance requirements that we continuously monitor to help you meet security and compliance standards for finance, retail, healthcare, government, and beyond. You inherit the latest security controls operated by AWS, strengthening your own compliance and certification programs, while also receiving access to tools you can use to reduce your cost and time to run your own specific security assurance requirements. AWS supports more security standards and compliance certification than any other offering, including SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3, PCI DSS as an example, helping satisfy compliance requirements for virtually every regulatory agency around the globe. We provide you a tool named AWS Artifact, which is a portal in your AWS Management Console. This portal provides you on-demand access to information such as AWS policies, process, and controls. It also provides you the documentation of control relevant to specific compliance framework. You can use this to verify AWS controls are operating effectively. These are some of the reports and documentation which you can download from AWS Artifacts portal. Our FSI customer normally feels that these are a good collection of artifacts which can help them to understand AWS control. Now, let's discuss on the security in the cloud, which mainly outlines your responsibility in ensuring your workload and content security in AWS cloud. When it comes to security in the cloud, these are the areas which you should focus on as part of your responsibility. AWS provides you a wide range of services which you can leverage to identify, protect, detect, and respond to security events. You may have heard of a cybersecurity framework named NIST. In this section, we are going to dive deeper to understand how AWS can help you to align to NIST Cybersecurity Framework. So, what is NIST Cybersecurity Framework? It's a framework originated by National Institute of Standards and Technology under the United States Commerce Department. The Cybersecurity Framework is a set of guidelines for private sector companies to follow to better prepare in identifying, detecting, and responding to cyber attacks. It was originally intended for critical infrastructure, but is applicable across all organization types. As we can see from these slides, many financial services cybersecurity-related policy or regulatory requirements requires the FSI organization comply to largely the same requirement which is adhering to NIST Cybersecurity Framework. One thing which we should take note of the NIST Cybersecurity Framework is it provides organizations an opportunity to standardize and streamline their policy. The whole idea is not on compliance, but it is really for us to focus on how to achieve best-in-class security posture. AWS offers a wide range of services which help you align your cloud deployment to the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. Let me give you an example. Traditionally, the way organizations perform their security audit or assessment is commonly based on a manual checklist. The auditor periodically assesses the security control of the organization, but as we all know, there's no continuity of this approach, and most of the time, the team will only start to clean up and touch up the environment prior to an IT audit. As a key aspect of identified pillar in NIST Cybersecurity Framework, it is advisable to have a capability which will allow you to have full visibility at any time to identify who has performed what action from where in real time. Only with this kind of capability, financial institutions can detect any misconfiguration and non-compliance in their environment and respond quickly to prevent risk from materializing. AWS Config Rules is a service which allows you to achieve the visibility of your cloud resources compliance posture in real time. We have developed a few sets of sample compliance rules in the form of AWS Config Conformance Packs. Conformance Packs provides a general purpose compliance framework designed to enable you to create security, operational, or cost optimization governance checks using managed or custom AWS config rules and AWS config remediation actions. Conformance packs as sample template are not designed to fully ensure compliance with a specific governance or compliance standard. You are responsible for making your own assessment of whether your use of the services meets applicable legal and regulatory requirements. In these slides, I have shown you an example of how compliance check can be applied against operational best practices for Bank Negara Malaysia BNM IMIT Conformance Pack sample template. This sample template provides a sample mapping between the Bank Negara Malaysia BNM Risk Management in Technology, in short IMIT, and AWS Managed Config Rules. Each config rules applies to a specific AWS resources and relates to one or more BNM IMIT controls. A BNM IMIT control can be related to multiple config rules. We also provide other sample templates of conformance packs such as operational best practices for MAS TIMG, operational best practices for NBC TIMG, and operational best practices for NIST Cybersecurity Framework. As of today, there are 50 plus conformance pack sample templates available in AWS Config. Please do check it out. We trust this can be helpful for organizations. AWS Config allows you to record and retrieve the compliance status of a resources over time. This allows your risk and compliance team to determine if a resource always has been compliant or has drifted in or out of compliance with ongoing changes. Amazon Guard Duty is another AWS services which provide you the intelligent threat detection capability. The service will collect and correlate logs from multiple AWS services and provide you a visibility of any suspicious activity in your AWS cloud environment. It will also leverage machine learning model to detect unusual user behavior and traffic patterns. In example, if your administrator normally access a particular resources from Singapore during daytime, if there's an event which the resources is accessed by a bad actor from other country during midnight, you will detect this as anomaly. All of the findings can then be sent to other AWS services such as AWS Security Hub or persist in your cloud storage destination. I would like to give you another example of AWS security services which you can use to align to NIST Cybersecurity Framework. AWS Cloud Trail is an audit logging capability on AWS Cloud. It provides logging, continuous monitoring, and retention of account activity related to user activity and API actions across your AWS infrastructure. Besides the technology aspect, we should not forget any governance also requires a set of well-defined processes and teams. In order to derive a cloud operating model which can allow you to perform governance at scale, these are some of the due diligence which you can apply internally within your organization. Firstly, if you are new to cloud, as part of your cloud adoption journey, you should perform a study to map out your existing on-premise security tooling with the cloud security services which you can consider leverage. You should also perform security policy mapping, just so you can derive a cloud security policy and engineering specification. Most of the organization will also develop a set of selection criteria to whitelist specific AWS services or products which adhering to their business context and security requirement, and build out a catalog of service for internal consumption. Automation is another area which you can use to govern your cloud deployment. In example, you can derive some automation template to standardize the deployment of common reference architecture, such as 3-tier web application architecture on AWS Cloud. Organizations should also integrate AWS with their ITSM tooling, just so the developers and operation team can automate the incident response and keep track of product changes. Last but not least, you should consider establish a cloud center of excellence to oversee your cloud initiative. All these cloud governance related due diligence can be supported by implementing the following setup. You can set up a best practice environment for control, namely landing zone, to govern your cloud workload. As part of the setup of this landing zone, you can implement security guardrail and a set of automation to ensure standardization of security baseline and maintain continuous governance. AWS provides you a wide range of management and governance tools which you can leverage to achieve governance at scale. You may set up a landing zone by leveraging AWS Control Tower. AWS Control Tower is a service that is intended for organizations with multiple accounts and teams who are looking for the easiest way to set up their new multi-account AWS environment and govern at scale. With AWS Control Tower, cloud administrators get peace of mind knowing accounts in their organization are compliant with established policies, while their builders provision new AWS accounts quickly in few clicks. As part of the governance model, you should also focus on cost management. You can use a service named AWS Budgets. AWS Budgets allow you to set custom budgets to track your costs and usage from the simplest to the most complex use cases. With AWS Budgets, you can choose to be alerted by email or SMS notification when actual or forecasted costs and usage exceed your budget threshold. AWS also provides you a tool named AWS Well-Architected Tool, which you can use it to review the state of your workloads and compare them to the latest AWS architecture best practices. These are all the tools and mechanisms which can help you to govern at scale. Now, I would like to suggest a list of next step actions for consideration. You can jumpstart your cloud journey by creating a cloud security policy, performing your due diligence on AWS as your cloud service provider. In ongoing basis, you can leverage on automation to help deploy a repeatable security control. On top of that, you should also performing security assessment on your cloud workload, develop a continuous compliance program, and risk management framework internally by aligning yourself to security frameworks such as NIST Cybersecurity Framework. You join AWS Summit to learn, and you can keep learning beyond the summit with resources from AWS Training and Certification for Security. According to Global Knowledge, IT decision makers reports having the most difficult time finding qualified cybersecurity talent, so training has never been more important. We offer more than 25 digital and classroom courses for you and your team around security, identity, and compliance. Please visit aws.training/security for more information. Thank you for attending my sessions. I hope you find this session helpful. Please complete the session survey to provide your valuable feedback on my session and help us improve the AWS Summit experience for you in the future. Thank you once again.